Hey, why are you dressed like that? Do you have a new job? Are you a beekeeper now?
No, I'm part of a band now, and I am dressed up like a beekeeper for the band.
Oh, like like the village people?
No, it's nothing like the Village People. Okay, me and five other guys, we wear different occupational uniforms. See, I'm the beekeeper. We got a janitor, a chef, a garbage man, a lifeguard, and a male nurse.
That sounds just like the village people.
It's nothing like the Village People.
Okay, well, what's your name of this group?
Montrose folk.
Okay, it is a area and a name you would call a person. That sounds just like the village people.
No, come on.
Yeah, well, give me some of your songs.
What are you telling me that the Village People came from Greenwich Village in New York or something?
Yes.
Well, this is the neighborhood Montrose in Houston, so it's totally different.
Okay, well, give me some of your songs.
Okay, so we got one called "In the Coast Guard." It's pretty self-explanatory.
In the Navy.
What do you mean in the Navy?
It's a song from the village people.
Okay, fine, whatever. We got another one called "Machismo Hombre."
What?
Yeah, and my favorite is IRS. It goes like IRS. It's fun to pay money to IRS.
Oh my God. That is exactly just like the YMCA song. Everyone knows that song. How do you not know that song?
I know the song, but it sounds completely different.
Okay, well, just so you know, we need to watch this movie called Can't Stop the Music because I'm going to show you that that you are a 2-bit version of the village people.
All right. Well, I've never seen that movie or heard of it, so.
You haven't seen it?
You haven't seen it.
No way.
You're out of order!
You're killing me, Smalls.
Fasten your seatbelts.
You're tearing me apart!
Houston, we have a problem.
What we've got here is failure.
Conceivable. God damn you all to hell!
Hello and welcome to
You haven't seen it?
The podcast where I force my wife to watch terrible movies she never cared to see. I'm your host, Joey.
And I'm the non-homophobic wife, Erin, who has never seen this movie.
The non-homophobic wife.
Yeah, because I'm not homophobic.
Yeah, you're not. Okay, I just want to make sure I heard that. All right, welcome to the show, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the 1980 classic Can't Stop the Music.
Is it a classic?
For some people it is, I'm sure. It's starring Steve Guttenberg and Village People. I think that's how they're credited in the movie. Erin, did you know anything about this movie?
No, I had no clue it existed.
None whatsoever.
None whatsoever. I knew
Okay.
of the Village People, but I didn't know that they made a movie with them in it.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't know the Village People? They're iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I don't think they were around that long, like YMCA is still a song that persists to this day. You hear it all the time.
At weddings, parties, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's a banger. Not to mention In the Navy and Macho Man are still songs that you hear quite often.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have any connection to Village People?
No, just that it's always been played at weddings, and I have some family that has been in the wedding industry, and so I've even been in the wedding industry for a very short time. So my family is well engrossed into wedding culture, and so the song really just plays into that. So
Yeah, people in your family are always getting married too.
yeah, I have a huge family, so
Yeah,
it makes
nobody
sense.
nobody in my family is getting married.
Yeah, because there's only 4 of you. And they're already married.
Yeah, that's right. Well, for me, I have a little bit of a connection to Village People. When I was in kindergarten, my elementary school would do a little kindergarten show at the end of every year because kindergartners are cute. So they would teach you like a little song and dance. And the one they chose for us was Macho Man. and I was the construction worker, and my other classmates were the other village people, guys or whatever, and we went out and did the dance. And then I remember I was working at Blockbuster with my friend Ryan, and I was telling him the story about it, about how, when we were getting ready to do the thing, my teacher got the VHS of Can't Stop the Music and showed us like some clips from it, some that are appropriate for kids. And I remember watching the little song and dance with the construction worker, and being a little kid who didn't know what homosexuality was.
I love you to death. I love you to death.
Yeah,
that song?
Yes, that song. And I'm like, wow, he's a real ladies' man dancing with all those women. But anyway, later in life, I found out they were gay. And
Are all of them gay?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think the fact that there are a bunch of men who come from the village, I think it was supposed to be implied like people who are in the know would know what that means.
What is the village?
It's just it's a place in New York. It's like a neighborhood in New York. I think it's also, sometimes people just call it the village, but its full name is Greenwich Village.
Is that like the gayborhood?
I think it might be.
Okay.
But I think in New York, it might have changed since then, or there might be multiple gayborhoods in New York. I don't know. But anyway, so cut to like 2003. I'm working at Blockbuster Video. I'm there with my friend Ryan, and I'm telling him about this Village People thing that I did when I was in kindergarten. And I was like, she showed us the movie, and I've always wanted to see that movie again, but I don't know what it's called. Like, you know, I just know it has the Village People in it. And he's like, Can't Stop the Music. And I was like, what? He's like, the name of the movie is Can't Stop the Music. And I was like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, do you want to borrow it? I have it.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So he let me borrow his copy of Can't Stop the Music, and I took it home and watched it, and it was crazy. But I did like it, and I still like it. So tell me, what are your initial thoughts on the movie?
It is hilarious. It was a joy to watch because I could not stop laughing.
Yeah.
Some of the characters in this movie and some of the antics that go on is just like, what? And so it was really fun to watch. I will say that.
It's definitely a fun watch, especially if you're into disco and dancing.
Which I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really have any like little talky things to talk about the movie without just like talking about what happened in it. Just that like there's so many random things that happen, and there's also some parts where it's like, wait, why did that happen, and what was the point of that? But it's still really funny.
Well, the movie is really just a vehicle to get them to play like multiple songs of theirs, right? And you can tell like it's really convoluted because it's like, okay, you got Steve Guttenberg, who's a composer, and then his model friend that he lives with, and they have to go through all these gymnastics to get to like, how do we get the Village People together? How do we get them to sing? How do we get them an album? How do we get them on TV for a milk commercial?
Yeah.
It's just, they're working so hard to get all of this on screen. And I would say that is what makes it work the least. That's what makes this a bad movie, is it's just too much hard work going on. All the work is up there on the screen. It's exhausting when you think about it.
It is a exhausting to watch movie.
Yeah.
Like your eyes are just going all over the place constantly.
Right. And also there's like these long drawn out, painstakingly long scenes of people talking and making terrible jokes.
Yes. There's some really great lines in there. Like there's one point where this woman is trying to climb over a trash can and there's a cat on it, and she goes, "Get away, kitty cat." And then she goes, "You rotten pussy." And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's the same woman who gets her finger stuck in a telephone dial,
Yeah.
an old school telephone dial, and can't get out of a phone booth.
Yeah. Whenever I was like, she's stuck in a phone booth, I was like, what is happening? Because there was just so much stuff happening.
Yeah. And then I think the other thing about this movie, which makes it a bad movie, but in a fun way, is all these bad actors who are at like an 11 the entire time.
Yes.
The only person who really is like a good actor who has actually something behind his character is Steve Guttenberg.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like they're in a high school musical or something. They're just delivering their lines to the back row.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm a good actor.
Yeah.
And then the weirdest thing of all is watching this now and seeing Caitlyn Jenner in it.
Yes.
That is crazy. You didn't even know that was
I didn't
who it
recognize
was,
them.
right?
Like the whole time, I was just like, who is that? Because they were a dick in the movie. Like their character is a dick in the movie.
Yeah,
And then when you said like, oh, like later on, how crazy it is, I was like, what are you talking about? I don't understand what you mean. And you were like, that's Caitlyn Jenner.
yeah.
Used to be Bruce Jenner. That's their dead name.
Yeah. So there's a part in the movie where Caitlyn Jenner as Bruce Jenner shows up to see the Village people, and he's put off by it because he's this buttoned up small town guy, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He's not from New York. And then he's going to storm out of there, and he tells the model woman, he's like, your friends they're just weird, and I don't like people like that. Because never in this movie do they ever use the word gay or homosexual or anything like that. It's all implied, which also makes it fun.
And there's also some like jokes in there that are like, if you like reading back on some of the lines, I'm like, oh, that was a gay joke. Or like that was that was a sucking dick joke.
Are you talking about the two snowballs and a ding dong?
If someone that can swallow two snowballs and a ding dong. And I was like, I didn't realize that. I was just like, because the whole time, like, she's like, I'm not a model anymore. I can eat what I want. And so she's constantly eating. And then all of a sudden, like, he says this line, and then I read it back later, and I'm like, that's a dick joke.
Yeah. You know what I thought when she said that?
What?
A ding dong sounds pretty good. Those are fun little snacks. But anyway, he was Caitlyn Jenner as Bruce Jenner is saying, like, your friends are weird and like I don't accept them, and she's like, maybe you should learn how to accept others. And I turned to Aaron and I said, it's pretty weird watching this, knowing later what he's gonna transform into, and you're like, what are you talking about? And I was like, that's Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to recognize him. The first time I saw this movie, I didn't know who Caitlyn Jenner didn't exist yet. He was still Bruce back in she was still Bruce back in 2003 when I first saw this movie, and I didn't know that he was an Olympian or anything like that. I thought he was just a bad actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this movie is full of bonkers performances. Everybody's at a 10.
Yeah, the mom character was hilarious too.
Yeah.
I think my favorite characters were Lulu and the mom.
Oh my
because
God.
they're so crazy, goofy, silly. They just really make the movie fun.
Yeah, and it's got that old style of comedy from like the 60s and 70s where it's like these have to be jokes that everybody's going to get.
Yeah.
Right? So like that the record producer who's just always answering the phone and will do anything to keep talking on the phone.
Yeah.
It's so bad, but so good at the same time.
Yeah. The jokes are so dumb, but like it makes you not have to think about like, oh, like that's funny. It's just like, that's funny because it's so stupid.
Yeah, it's like when somebody tells you a bad joke, you're not laughing because of how funny the joke is. You're laughing about
How bad the joke is.
yeah, how ridiculous the concept of it is. And that's what this movie is for sure.
Yeah.
So if you're going to sit down and watch this movie, you got to be in the right mood for it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You're definitely not going to be watching something serious whatsoever.
I also felt like the movie gave me Xanadu vibes.
Oh yeah, total Xanadu vibes.
Very like, especially at the very beginning whenever he starts roller skating down the street and like they're singing. It's with an X.
Yeah, yeah.
But like I was just like, this is straight up Xanadu.
But funny, Xanadu came out the same year, so they must have thought there was some sort of market for this. But 1980 disco was dying a hard death by 1980. It had come and gone. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was another through line through the whole movie is like her being like, this is the 80s now. The 70s are gone. This is the 80s. And it's like, you still seem stuck in the 70s.
Yeah. It had a very 70s vibe for it, to it, and I really enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yes.
All right, so I just want to jump into the movie, scene by scene here. Okay, so the movie opens up, and it's in a record store that Steve Guttenberg works at, and he's wearing roller skates for some
Behind
odd
the
reason.
counter, I guess.
Skating around the store. And he's like, I gotta go. I gotta gig.
His boss is like, you have to do all of these things. And he's like, I can't do that. I'm going to head out.
Well, he specifically was like, we have inventory tonight.
Oh.
Which I remember when I worked at Blockbuster, we'd have to close the store at midnight and then do inventory like every 6 months or something like that. So he's like, if you don't stay to do inventory, you're fired.
Yeah.
And he's like, fine. I guess
That's
I'm
fine.
fired. Yeah. And then we get opening credits of him skating around in New York. Mm-hmm. And what do you remember what song is playing?
I don't know. But it's like something about New York.
Sound of the City by David London. Don't know who that is. But anyway, he's skating around and they're doing like some weird camera stuff.
Yeah.
Where they had the screen was split up into thirds. I don't know how they did that.
Yeah, and there was like doubled on the sides.
Yeah.
So.
It's kind of like how videos are now because everybody records vertically on their phone now. Mm-hmm. So, which drives me insane. And then we're introduced to the other character, Samantha or Sam Simpson, and she has finished her she has retired from modeling, and now she's all excited because she can eat whatever she wants.
Yeah, so she's seen eating almost constantly and eating foods that are not diet friendly.
No, she's eating nothing but junk food, and I gotta say, like, if that had been my life,
for real,
yeah. Oh, I remember when I was in the Army, you have to stay under a certain weight, or they'll make you do extra PT, and I didn't want to do that. And I struggled with my weight the whole time I was in the Army. I was just like 3 pounds under what you were supposed to be. But I remember when I did my last PT test and my last weigh-in, I just ate whatever I wanted after that. So it happens. People do that. She draws a face on
herself.
Yeah, she draws a face on herself.
Bus.
Yeah, it was an ad on a bus with her on it. She draws like a mustache on herself. And then we kind of see some of the village people, like the construction worker pops his head out of a sewer manhole. Mm-hmm. I think you were writing a note when.
I didn't. Yeah, because I was about to say I didn't see that.
That guy had the best hair. Did you see his hair?
He does have fantastic hair.
Yeah, he had the best hair, and then
he had covered it with a helmet the whole time.
Not the whole time.
Yeah.
And then the Leatherman, he had the best facial hair. Like he had big bushy like
mustache,
Fu Manchu or something like that.
I don't know what it's called.
I don't either. But man, that was an epic facial hair.
Yeah. So we kind of get a glimpse of all the characters, and then he goes to this apartment, and it's Sam's apartment. So he's been watching Sam's house when she was a model, and she was off doing things. And so they've become friends, and he's been her roommate. And you also see Felipe for the first time. That's the first time we see him.
Yeah, and he's the Indian character. So offensive? I don't know. To be dressed up in a big headdress like that? Is that guy actually Native American?
I have no idea.
I'm gonna look it up. You talk about his character long.
Well, so we meet Felipe, and like he when he starts acting, I was like, oh my God, they are the worst actor. And then I was like, actually, all of the acting is terrible. Even Steve Guttenberg is overacting. Like, there were some parts I was like, okay, there's some depth there. But for the most part, everything's just like out of 10.
Well, Steve Guttenberg isn't known for being like a great actor.
Yeah.
But he was obviously directed to be at a 10 the whole time.
Yes, absolutely.
He's literally the only person in the movie who has any depth to his character.
Yeah.
Like, this guy actually made a choice and stuck to it. Everybody else is just like, I'm in a high school musical.
So what does it say?
I don't know. I can't find
Oh, wait.
anything.
Oh, go up. Was born in Manhattan to Puerto Rican. There we go. To a Puerto Rican mother. He currently claims.
He has more recently said his father was Mescalero, Apache, Lakota, and Cherokee.
He's
But-
not enrolled in or claimed to be in any tribal community. He was raised in Brooklyn, so he just has possible family.
Yeah, possible.
Yeah.
But anyway, I remember we were watching this last night, and I thought to myself, like, he just looks like a Puerto Rican dude.
Yeah, because he is. Yeah, he does not look Native American at all, really.
No.
He just he looks more Hispanic.
Yeah. So if you are a Native American and you're offended by this, please write in and tell us. We'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, we'd love to hear like your perspective on like Felipe and his whole thing with the village people.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to hear. So yeah, we meet them, and then Steve Guttenberg's character is like, I gotta go to a bar or to a club, and I'm gonna play tonight. Like, this is my chance. I'm gonna play my music. And I was like, well, are you singing in your music? Like, where did you get this music produced? Because
he's just a DJ for the.
Yeah, but he says it's his music.
Well, yeah, DJs make their own music.
But how did he get people to sing?
I don't know.
Because the whole thing was like, I can't sing. It was a
That was a plot
very
point.
big
That
plot hole.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a plot hole. It's a plot point. Is that he says, I can't sing. And she says, well, if you want to make a good demo, we have to get a real singer. No one's going to buy it.
But he has a song that's played at the club before they meet with the village people.
Maybe he just took pre-existing singing.
Oh, okay,
from
maybe.
it. He's supposed to be sort of a new age composer. Kind of like, I mean, we have EDM now, and people are just making that on their computer.
Yeah.
You know, and they'll sample some vocals. So he's kind of like a precursor to that, I guess.
So he plays a song, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, your stuff is so good." His mom thinks he's a prodigy.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks so highly of him. And I mean, it's just like basic ass disco sounding music.
Yeah, but that's how movies
yeah.
are, you know.
It also reminds me a lot of what is that movie? It's about high school of performing arts. Fame.
Fame. Oh yeah, Fame is definitely more serious.
Yeah, but this very much makes me think of Fame.
Yeah, I guess that came out around the same time. I'm not really sure.
Um,
That's a good movie, though. Fame, I would say, is a good movie. You don't think so? Oh, well, the play is better. The music is better.
No. I think it's kind of goofy. I haven't watched the movie. I think that there's a big plot point about someone doing drugs in the movie.
Uh-huh.
And that's not in the play version that I produced, because I think I did a junior version.
Well, the movie's probably a lot different. Like, I remember watching the movie, and it was pretty theatrical. They probably changed a good portion of it for the movie.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, so they go play at this bar, and it totally looks like a gay bar. Like, there's the village.
It looked like a carnival to me.
Yeah. Like, all of the people were dancing so crazy, and I was like, okay, I've been to clubs. Nobody dances like that.
No.
People were
Even I know that.
grinding real hard.
Yeah, and they were also like, it looked like they had choreographed it and
Yeah.
practiced it multiple times.
Yeah. So like I feel like a lot of people will like a lot of movies that have people at clubs, like people like there's no music going on. People are just dancing like, oh, like this is how I dance in the club. So this definitely did not feel like a real club.
Yeah, well, I want to say I don't really have a good eye for this, but in a lot of movies where people are dancing in a club, the music that they're dancing to when they film it is not the music that's in the movie. But I felt like watching this, I was like, oh, I bet you they knew what song they were going to use, because it looked like they were synced up pretty good. Mm-hmm. Also, this movie has incredibly long takes on it. Like, they don't cut for a long time during some of these dance sequences.
Realize.
Yeah. And like she's dancing with the construction guy, and like he was a good dancer too. And they held on them for a long time. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate that. Movies now are cut so quickly. Mm-hmm. I think the cinematographer did a pretty good job in this movie.
And then they end the party, and then she's like, you should produce your own music. And he's like, okay, yeah, I should produce my own music.
But he doesn't know anybody in the music industry. And another thing you got to realize about this movie is like anytime they run into a problem, it's really easily solved.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She's like, oh, I used to bump heads with all these people in the music
She said
industry.
she used to date them.
Yeah.
Which I remember hearing that and thinking like, okay, anytime they had a problem in this movie, are they just going to be like, oh, this model used to have sex with the guy who that's just how they're going to fix every problem? It's like, oh my
Problem
God.
solved.
The private
Which
jet.
they kind of do.
Yeah. Well, the private jet isn't working. Oh, well, I used to have sex with this aviation mechanic. Let me call.
So then it cuts to the Lulu and no, that's when we cut to he's like playing he's trying to like think of his own music, and then he plays it for Samantha, and she's like, you sound terrible, like you are the worst singer. And he's like, well, who am I supposed to have sing? And she's like, well, I don't have a lot of money to have you sing, but I have so much money. It's like she keeps being like, I can't spend my own money, but she has so much of it.
Yeah. Well, here's another problem that's really easily solved is she's like, well, you can't sing good. He's like, well, I don't have any singers. And then she's like, okay, I'm going to go to Baskin Robbins. And as she's going to get ice cream and walking back, she runs into multiple guys.
Yes.
Who are like, I'm a great singer.
Mm-hmm. So then she brings in the construction worker,
the
cowboy, and then someone else.
No, it wasn't the police officer, was it?
No, because her friend brings him in later.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's just Felipe.
Yeah, he was already because she talks to him first, and she's like, "Oh, like you can sing? Like, yeah, you're gonna join us."
Uh-huh.
I think they were at Baskin Robbins together.
Right.
And then like as the scene goes on, like she like flips through people, which I thought was kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, the movie's fun. It's the problems are
not
easily...
good, but it was fun.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, I don't know how to describe it except for it's like the movie's just a vehicle for them to do songs. Yeah. And they had to write around all this, and it's really convoluted. And when they ran into a little wall, they're just like, oh, here's an easy solution to that. Yeah. She walked outside and bumped into a singer,
Yeah, so she then goes to the construction worker guy, and she's like, you should be in our show. And like this is like a moment where he starts like recanting, like he's like dreaming of like, I love you to death, I love you to death. Hilarious. Yeah. And I think that's what people think musicals are like.
Yeah.
That some people just burst into song. But people don't just burst into song. Like it moves the plot forward. This song had no reason it did not move the plot forward at all.
No, this was completely highly unnecessary.
But it was still so much fun.
Maybe that guy got it in his contract that he wanted to have a solo.
Oh, maybe.
In it because he's like, well, I'm a backup singer in the band, so you better give me some more screen time. But that was something that could easily cut. In this movie is 2 hours long, but it feels like 3.
It feels so long.
The second half is a real slog.
And then also something that you see throughout like the beginning of the movie is there's this woman who keeps like hitting people with bread. So like,
Oh my God.
She did it at the very beginning whenever Jack is like rolling through town. Like she starts hitting people with bread.
Yeah, during the opening credits.
Yeah. So like, and then she pops up again later and, so there's this woman who is a talent agent, I guess. I don't know what she is.
Well, she's the agent for the model woman who retired.
Yeah. So and she's like, I need to get her back. And so she's like been like spying on her somewhat, I guess. And she's bent over a car, and then this lady just sees her butt and is like, I have bread, and she slaps her on the ass. Yeah. With this bread, and the lady,
it's a baguette.
Yeah, and so the lady turns around and she grabs the baguette and hits her with it and throws it on her.
Yeah,
and it's just like, what was the point of that?
Yeah, see, it's things like that make for bad movies, right? People write these movies and they go, "Hey, what'll be a funny thing to do? We'll have an old lady who hits people with baguettes." Yeah, but it has to like pay off at some point. This time we were watching it and I was like, does that lady pop up at the end and like save the day or something? No.
And then right after that, we see this granny hold up Bruce Jenner's character.
Yeah.
Well, they were Bruce at the time, but Caitlyn Jenner's character. And they hold them up, like they drop something and then they like put a gun on them and they're like, give me your watch, give me your wallet.
Yeah, this is Caitlyn Jenner, then as Bruce Jenner. This is...
What's the character name?
Ron, I think.
Oh, okay.
So Ron is introduced in the film, and he's got a cake, and he's walking down the street, and he sees an old lady who gets knocked over by somebody on a motorcycle. And he's like, oh, somebody needs to help her because of all these jaded New Yorkers passing by her. And then... he goes to help her, and she stands up and points a gun at him. And she's like, give me your watch and your rings and stuff. Yeah. So that was his introduction to New York. And then
because he's supposed to be from out of town, but his family lives in town.
Yeah, I think they just moved their firm there.
Okay.
Or something. I don't know. But then the button on the scene, which this scene I think was pretty good. Because they have a button on the scene where the guy on the bike who knocked her over turns around and comes back.
Yeah.
And she gets on the bike like, yeah, we totally fooled you.
Yeah. I'll be, don't move until we turn around the corner.
Yeah. So then they're getting ready for their little showcase. What do you want to call it?
Yeah, I would say a showcase. Like they're in her backyard. And they're about to perform a song, one of Jack's songs, like the people that she found to sing. They're going to perform for her. And her friend brings in a police officer. And just before that, Lulu goes over, Lulu works with the agent. And the agent's like, you're going to go to this party and you're going to spy on them for me. But she doesn't really do that.
No, she just hangs out there and hits on all the gay men.
Yeah.
Because her character trait, because everybody in the movie is given one character trait. Mm-hmm. And her one character trait is that she's horny.
Yeah. The whole show.
Yeah.
So she's hitting on every single man.
Yes.
And so Jack comes up to her and is like, Lulu, I'm like really nervous. And she goes, oh, well, I have something that'll calm your nerves. And she pulls out weed. And he's like, you're crazy, Lulu. And like, that's also like a through line. Everyone's just like, you're crazy, Lulu.
Yeah.
And then they look at the camera. Wham, wham.
Yeah, it's like the director's like, I don't think people are going to understand that she's crazy, so you call her crazy.
Yeah.
But it's so easy. Like, she is the like kooky character in the movie. It's obvious from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then the model woman, Sam, she drops a contact in the lasagna, and that never comes back into play. It's just
Yes,
like,
it does.
what happened?
Well, she's like, I don't like, she starts scooping it out, trying to find it. And she's like, well, just leave it in. And she's like, I'm not going to serve my expensive contact to these village people. And like, she's like, they're going to take a bite and think it's crunchy or something. And then later on, when after the agent climbs over the wall and they start eating lasagna, she goes, crunchy.
Yeah, I just don't think it should have been in there. I think,
Yeah, not at all. It was pointless.
yeah, completely pointless.
There's no real good payoff. There is a payoff. She does end up eating it.
Yeah, that's a better way to put off. It pays off, but just poorly.
Yeah.
They could have just edited down the movie a little bit. Because this scene lasts forever.
Mm-hmm.
We were watching it, and I was like, when are they going to sing? Like,
just sing.
Show, like, have them show
The movie
up.
could have been an hour long.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think 90 minutes would have been perfect for this movie, because they show up, and they talk, and they talk, and they talk, and more people show up. It's like, just have them put on the show already.
Yeah.
And when they do, like, that's the best part.
Yeah, so they sing
Magic Night.
Magic Night. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then Ron is like, I can't be here. Your friends are too, I don't know what he says.
Well, we already went over that
Yeah.
part, so we won't do it again. But it was funny to see someone who would later be, transition to a different gender talk about how they're not accepting of these people.
Yeah.
But they won't explain why, because they won't say gay. This movie is like Florida, don't say gay.
Also, the movie, I don't know where I was going with that thought.
It's okay, we'll cut it out.
Okay.
So then the next day,
well, she throws him out. Like, that was the part. That was the thing I wanted to say was after he does all of that, she's like,
well,
you
he
need to
storms out.
he like stops her at the door and she's like, well, you can leave then. And she shuts the door on him. And then I can't remember what happens like right after that.
Well, then it cuts to the next day, and Sam is out to see her former boyfriend, who's also a record producer. Mm-hmm. And he's the guy who answers the phone constantly.
Yeah.
And you find out their relationship ended because he
can't listen to her. He's just constantly on the phone.
Yes. And he's like, no, I'll listen to you. And then they're sitting on the couch, and he's like pretending to listen to her, and he's like leaning over to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's really
and
bad.
he's like, okay, well, I'll listen to him. You've got it, babe. I'll come in and listen to him. So they set up a date for them to come in, and then, on the way out, of the place, she sees Ron, and he follows her down the stairs, and he was like, I wanted to apologize. He's, the character Ron is very abusive, I would say, like, oh, like, I don't like this, and then be like, well, I'm sorry, my bad, I shouldn't have done that.
Oh yeah, like he
constantly like, I don't like this, and then coming back being like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's it's kind of like that. I'm mad about something stupid, and then he comes back and like, I'm gonna love bomb you. That's not the real me.
It's very
baby.
abusive.
Yeah.
And she accepts it. And then they go back to her place, where she spills the lasagna on him.
Yeah, which is weird.
Which is like, why is the lasagna still in the oven?
Yeah. But I just want to say again, the meeting with the record producer again goes on for way too long.
Yeah. Most of these scenes go on too long.
Yeah. But they go back and they talk to Gutenberg for a bit, and he gets lasagna spilled on him, and then they have like sort of a meet cute where he doesn't have pants on.
Yeah.
And then she gets her dress caught into the chair that he's sitting on.
And so she has to take it off, and then they'd go do it. And then something that's a through line of hers is like, this is the 80s.
Yeah.
We're not in the 70s anymore. I'm going to be new. And so she's been saying that this whole time. And then when they go to bed, he goes, this is the 80s. Oh, she goes, what are you doing? And he goes, this is the 80s. You're not going to do things you're going to do things you've never done before. And I was like, oh, I bet he put his finger in her butt or something.
Yeah, you said that to me. I think he was like tongue punching her third
Fart
button.
Fart box.
It was just funny because I said tongue punch, and then you finished it for me. I'm sorry, that was so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, they did something that was not missionary. Ooh, they're going crazy in the 80s.
Oh yeah, they were probably scissoring. Marlon Brando style.
Anywho, and then they start holding auditions, which they never said, "Hey, we need another member," or anything like that. They just are holding auditions all of a sudden.
Yeah. Well, I want to something I wanted to say is in that last scene, they're like, "Hey, Caitlyn Jenner character Ron is like clumsy. He keeps knocking stuff over and like spilling stuff on him, and then after that, like he's never clumsy again." Ron.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
He just needed some sex.
Yeah. But now we're going to jump to auditions. They said they're going to hold auditions, but it's the weirdest audition I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's like
it's so funny.
The thing that they keep saying is like all these non-singers showed up for a singing audition.
Yeah. And they're like, it's okay. They're performers.
Yeah.
Which is like, no, like if you want a singer, you want people to come in and sing for you.
Right.
Not twirl fire. And then, so you see this biker pull up, and then they go in and there's all these different crazy people there to audition. And then this one woman comes in and she's like, you're going to audition for them. And he's like in the military.
Which they don't show him audition or anything.
They're just like, you're going to get in. And then he goes and talks to them and he's like, oh, what's her name? What's her name told you about us? Great. Perfect. You just go stand over here. Like, you don't even need to audition. He's just in. And then the biker someone comes in and is like, my body. He sings a song about his body.
But I love people call him the biker, but he's the Leatherman.
Yeah.
That's like a gay thing that I don't know anything about. But he comes in and he's not there for the audition, right? Mm-hmm. He's just this guy decked in a ton of leather. He's got like epic facial hair going on.
Oh, he looks like a leather daddy.
Yeah, he does. He probably was.
Yeah.
He probably was. And because he looks very authentic for sure. And
he had a harness on and everything.
Yeah. Chest hair showing. Epic chest hair showing. And he comes in and they're like, are you here for the audition? He's like, no, I'm here to file an extension on my tax return.
But I'm a singer anyways. I'll sing something for you. And he goes to the piano and he sings, oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling.
Yeah, you started laughing at that point, and did you do the choice of song?
Yes, song choice was the most funny part.
Oh, okay.
He chose to sing "Oh, Danny Boy."
Yeah, I think they just wanted something that they didn't need a license for, probably.
Oh, well, they probably also. Well, I definitely think that, but it's also really funny that they chose that song.
Well, what is it about that song? I know the song, but is there something about it?
Well, I mean, it's more of like a classic kind of song,
right?
Whereas they're trying to sing disco.
It's like a Irish folk song, right, or something.
Yeah, so it was just an odd choice.
Okay,
I thought that was funny.
I think they chose it just because they didn't have to pay any money for it.
Well, also like people, I feel like people use that song as like let me do something funny. as a song choice.
I definitely think it was also like, this will be the most comical thing.
Yeah.
To see a guy in that much leather singing this song.
Oh, Danny Boy. Yeah.
Yeah. And then at one point, he bends down and he takes a sip of Dr. Pepper.
I was like, what was the point of that?
I don't know.
They just needed to get that ad in there.
Yeah. It was probably just some joke they wrote in the script that they should have cut out. Anyway. That's one of my favorite parts in the whole movie. And they're like, we found him. And then some guy comes in and he starts twirling like batons that are on fire.
Yeah.
And they hold on that guy for like way too long. And then, he turns off the sprinkler.
Yeah, the sprinkler cuts on because of the fire.
Yeah, which is not a fun button to the scene, but whatever.
And everyone's like, it's so funny.
Yeah.
And then Ron and Samantha start making out.
Yeah, which I did not like it when they made out.
Yeah.
Ugh. Also, in that scene, Ron tells his parents that he doesn't want to be part of the family business if they're not going to accept his friends or whatever.
Yeah. Because he tells his dad off because dad's like, you're not going to be here anymore. And he's like, well, you know what? I'm going to be the lawyer for this group instead.
Right.
So he quits his job.
Yep. So then the next scene, which we don't know how much time has passed, but they're just walking down the street and Ron is like, hey guys, I got a great place that we can go hang out. You remember this part?
Yes.
And he's wearing like a crop top and cut off jeans.
Jean shorts, yeah. And then they go to the YMCA and they just start singing and having a bunch of men work out around them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very, it's...
homoerotic.
Yeah, I was going to say male gazy of males, but homoerotic is a much better thing to say.
Yeah, because the whole time I was watching that, I was like, I don't find this attractive at all.
Yeah.
But I bet guys do.
Oh, maybe they do. I don't know. But that's definitely what it was supposed to elicit. It was supposed to be like a wink, like wink, wink. Yeah, we know what goes on at the YMCA.
Wait, what goes on at the YMCA?
Sports?
Oh. What's the wink wink for then?
I don't know, just men being men.
Okay. So they perform at the YMCA for no reason, and then they move on to being like, oh, well, we need. Then they perform for the producer, and the producer's like, I can't do that, and they can't dance, and Lulu's trying to coach them through the whole thing, and it's not a great performance, but like they sound good, so it's like, what does it matter if they can't dance right now? Like, they sound good.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, I can't produce these people. And he leaves. And she goes and runs after him. I'm not sure what happens after that.
Well, they're preparing to do the, because remember at the beginning of the movie, this is something that pays off, is that Sam's agent is like, hey, you need to be the face of this new advertising push for milk.
Yeah.
And then when she's like, oh, I think I know a way we can get the band out in front of people so that they can be seen and maybe get a record deal.
Yeah.
Is I want them in the commercial with me.
Yeah.
So then they're rehearsing all the steps and all that stuff so they could do this music, this commercial that's like a 2-minute commercial for milk.
God, that commercial was so freaking long. And they were like, do it again. And I was like, no, please.
No,
God.
no, I don't want to do it again. Do it again. Do the milkshake. Do it.
Yeah, that commercial was so freaking long.
It was a good musical number, though.
It was fun. It was fun, but like way too long. And it was just like a repeat over and over again. And so they did this song and then they watched it and they were like, oh my God, it was amazing. And then they get a call and they were like, they're actually not going to go through with it. Or it's like they have to wait to see if the producers actually want to produce it.
Well, yeah, I don't know if it was the same part, but the music producer guy watches the whole thing and he's like, he realizes, oh my God, they're all gay. right? So
Oh, well, that's not the milk commercial that he watches.
that wasn't?
No, he watches them in the studio.
Okay.
He watches them in the studio and he's like, oh, they're gay. I don't want to produce them.
Yeah, well, either way,
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what happens right after that.
it doesn't matter. Who cares?
Yeah.
Anyway, also, I took a THC gummy halfway through this movie, so like the second half of the movie is not sticking out in my head as much.
Oh. Well, I don't think it's really that important. Like after he says no to them, she's like, well, I have an idea. Let me call that agent and we can get you guys in that commercial.
Was that it?
Yeah, I think that's what.
Okay.
And then they do the commercial. And then they watch the commercial and then the people that are pushing the ad are like, actually, we need to wait because it's not very family friendly.
Right.
And so they're like, well, we can't get the royalties. And then we meet then Jack's mom comes back. Not Jack.
Gutenberg, Steve Gutenberg.
What?
Steve Gutenberg. Yeah, his name.
No,
he's Jack.
not Jack's mom. Ron's mom comes in and is like, I do benefits all the time. I can pay for you guys to go to San Francisco. And they go to San Francisco, and that's when they're going to do the big performance at the end.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. She's like, I can get a room full of 3,000 people in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Because they were like, we're going to have a party for 2,000 people, but we can't afford it.
Okay. I thought you were talking about the part where Steve Gutenberg's mom turns out that she is somebody with power in the industry, so she goes to cut a deal with the record producer.
So after the milk commercial, Samantha calls the music producer and was like, "Hey, I'll meet you on your jet, and we'll talk about this." And then that's when Jack and his mom go to the plane,
right,
to talk about it. But they're on their way to San Francisco.
Yeah, that's right. Those things happen concurrently.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. But what was I going to talk about? Oh, here's another thing that's like just easily solved. It's like, oh, my mom happens to be this, and my mom happens to be this.
Exactly. Yeah.
And also, after the milk commercial is over, Ron is all pissed off at Sam, and he's like, I didn't know you'd be showing so much of yourself on TV. And she's wearing like a full-length gown in the thing. She's got a slit down one leg, but she's wearing pantyhose underneath it. Because this was the time of pantyhose, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty funny. And again, like he's all pissed off for no reason. And then he's like, never mind, I love you.
Yeah. Well, they were fighting, and then she finally gets to San Francisco late with his dad as the lawyer for the company. I don't know. It's very convoluted at the end. And they're like, where's our costumes? We can't get on without our costumes. And then we see a really great girl group go on before.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They did a fantastic job.
Yeah, they were probably a real group.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the time.
It was really fun to watch. And then they perform, and then we cut to them in the dressing room, and everyone starts coming in, and everyone's like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah,
that was all very convoluted.
The one part at the end that I thought was like good and theatrical and everything was like, earlier in the movie, Sam is always saying to Steve Gutenberg, like, oh, we have a group, and he's like, oh, I don't know. He's not confident. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, he's backstage with the village people, and they're all holding hands, and he goes, guys, we're a group.
Yeah.
So it was like, yeah, he had his character arc through the film. Like that was the most theatrical part about the ending.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And these guys make Steve Gutenberg look like, I don't know, Robert De Niro. Because Steve Gutenberg, like he looks like such a better actor compared to all these people.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then also, Sam and Ron make up. And they're like, okay, we're in love. We're going to get married. Uh-huh. And then everyone's like, oh, they're going to get married in California. And it's like, what? The point of it seems so stupid and pointless. And I was like, don't get with that guy, please. He's horrible for you. And then they perform. And they bring the house down. And then other people start joining them on stage.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, it ends very abruptly, and you're glad it does, because I don't need to see an epilogue of a 2-hour movie about a disco group.
Yeah. I also love that they were almost a full rainbow, but I wish they would have been a full rainbow in their costumes. Like there was pink, orange, green, blue, and black. And pink. Wait, huh? Yeah, pink, orange, blue, green, black.
I don't know. I don't
and
remember at
something
all.
else. But I was like, why? Like the Leatherman could have worn like purple.
Aaron, let it go.
And then like Felipe could have worn yellow. And they could have been a full rainbow.
Okay, great.
Oh, and the cowboy was red.
You should have been the designer for this movie.
I should have.
But you weren't even born yet.
No.
Both of us had not
You weren't
been
even born yet.
No.
So yeah, that's the movie.
All right, so this movie, we've already said it's bad, but it's a fun watch. The budget for this movie was either 20 million or 13 million. They don't seem to know, but that gives you a good idea. They spent either somewhere between 20 and 13 million dollars to make this movie, and then the box office was just a mere $2 million.
Oh my God.
So this movie flopped harder than a dead donkey. You know, like, that's my new saying, flopped harder than a dead donkey. I hope you like it.
It's something.
Yeah, but it obviously has a big cult following now, and you can see why. It's supposed to appeal to a certain kind of audience, and that's probably why it didn't do very good at the movies. But that said, Aaron, I want to get your no bullshit assessment. What did you think of the 1980 Can't Stop the Music?
I think that this is a really fun movie. I would watch this again. I would even let my daughter watch it. It's not like grossly inappropriate.
I would 100% let Joey watch this.
There's one part where like people start to have sex, but like we don't see anything, and it's just implied. But it's still real fun and goofy and silly. Granted, I think she'll watch two minutes of it and be like, I'm done. But if you are wanting to see a movie that you're going to laugh at, not because it's supposed to be funny, just because it's really funny, because it seems like they're serious in the movie, it's definitely a movie you should watch. I would watch it again.
Yeah, so would I.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
This is maybe the third time I've seen it, and I'm definitely like, oh, I can't wait for the next time to see it. I think this is one of the first movies that I watched that I knew was really bad, but was just so much fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And this might have been one of the early movies that I watched that really kicked off my love for bad movies that are enjoyable to watch, because there are plenty. So that's going to do it for Can't Stop the Music. I think we have a little game we're going to play.
Yeah, we're going to play Four Quadrants.
Yes, Four Quadrants.
Actually, I think it's on your computer, so you'll have to look up. Okay.
All right, so you want to remind people how this is played?
Yes, so we're going to have 4 movie genres that are spun, and then we are going to spin for 4 movies, and then we're going to place them in those genres, whichever fits best.
Right.
And we're not going to do it like we put one in one area and it's solidified for the whole time. We're going to discuss them at the end. So
yeah, we're going to play it a little differently, a little bit, I think, more coherent and succinct. So we're just going to decide which one goes where. All right. So our first
genre
is going to be war. Yes, thank you very much.
Don't remove it.
Our second genre is going to be Western 2W movies.
Crime film.
Just barely passed over that line. War and crime film. Our third genre that we are waiting for right now is going to be thriller. And our fourth and final genre is going to be biographical. I feel like we got this one last time too. Mm-hmm. All right. And now we're going to move on to the movie wheel. Our first movie is going to be Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Okay. Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Well, we got to spin for all four first,
Yeah.
right? All right. We got another movie. Jurassic Park. One of my favorites from my childhood. Movie number 3. To Kill a Mockingbird. Never seen it. And then our fourth and final movie, which will be decided right now, is Groundhog's Day.
Okay. So we have war, crime, thriller, and biographical. PTA, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Jurassic Park, To Kill a Mockingbird, and Groundhog's Day.
All right, so Plane, Trains, and Automobiles could very easily be a thriller if John Candy was planning on killing Steve Martin.
Ooh, interesting. But I do feel like Jurassic Park is a very good thriller because there's a lot of thrill to it. And then like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles could be a crime film.
Yeah, well, David Attenborough is in Jurassic Park, so I think it fits better in biography.
I don't get it.
Biographical.
Who's that guy?
He's the grandpa in the movie. I think that's David Attenborough. He hosted nature shows or something.
What is To Kill a Mockingbird about?
Oh my god.
I thought you knew that movie.
No.
Or the book.
I've never read the book or the movie. Is a novel by American author Harper Lee. It was published in 1960 and was instant success. Despite dealing with serious issues of rape and racial inequality, the novel is renowned for its warmth and humor. Atticus Finch, the narrator's father.
Maybe we take this one off and we spin again for a new one because I don't know this. I don't know the story.
Who cares? That's what we spun. We have to do it. All right. So
Okay.
To Kill a Mockingbird, it's a legal movie. I think they have to go to court.
So crime film?
Yeah, it's a crime film.
Okay. Jurassic Park could also be a war film because they're at war with the dinosaurs.
Oh, they're at war with the dinosaurs. What's this one? I can't read your hand.
Groundhog's Day,
Groundhog's Day. What's this one?
To Kill a Mockingbird.
No, what's this one? The one
Jurassic Park.
I can't read that. Looks like Jurassic. So Jurassic Park, they're waging a war against dinosaurs. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like Planet of the Apes, but the apes were stuck on an island. All right. Then we have thriller. Are we going to put Planes, Trains, and Automobiles as a thriller?
Biographical means like it's about someone's life.
Yeah, it's about someone's life.
And is Groundhog's Day about Pennsatucky?
Pennsatucky. No, it's about it's sort of biographical about the character that Bill Murray is playing.
Yeah, but he's on repeat.
Yeah, it's
That's
still
that's the thing about the movie.
if he was a real person, it would be biographical.
But dinosaurs actually existed.
But we've already put that as a war movie. You think Groundhog's Day fits better under war than Jurassic Park? He's going to war with his own life that keeps repeating the same day over and over again. Mm-hmm. I think it fits best under biographical, and then Planes, Trains, and Automobiles should be a thriller because you don't know if John Candy's going to kill what's his name, Steve Martin.
I want to see a Planes, Trains, and Automobiles trailer, but it's a thriller.
Yeah. Like the Mrs. Doubtfire horror movie. Yes. Oh my God, that's so funny. That'd be great. Okay, so
our final list is Jurassic Park is now a war movie. To Kill a Mockingbird is a crime film. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a thriller. And Groundhog's Day is biographical.
Yes, biographical.
And that will be it for Four Quadrants.
Yeah, that episode ended pretty quick.
Yeah.
Okay, well...
we can talk a little bit about my brother's podcast.
Oh, yeah, okay. You want to plug your brother's podcast?
Yeah, so if you didn't know, I have a gay brother. Womp, womp, womp.
Wait, Matt's gay?
Yeah, he's gay. He has a boyfriend.
What?
And they've been together longer than we have.
No way.
Yeah. So my brother's gay. He's been gay his whole life. And he started a new podcast called We're Coming Out. It's a podcast it's a storytelling podcast where the people telling the stories are either people part of the LGBTQ plus community. They might be allies. They might be family members to LGBTQ plus people. And it's getting their coming out stories or their loved ones coming out stories from their perspective. So the first episode, I am interviewing my brother so that he can talk about himself, and it's his coming out story. But later on, we will have an episode where I will talk about my perspective of him coming out. He's posted his first episode. It's very, very new. So if you have a chance, go into the description and you can find a link to his podcast. It's called We're Coming Out. So I hope you give it a listen.
Yeah, and I heard them recording the first one, and there's some really good content in there. Keep in mind, it is DIY. So there's going to be DIY unicorn screwdriver, but so there's going to be technical hiccups in there. But I think the content is good enough that none of that matters. Like, you're going to want to hear the story, more than like some beautiful soundscapes. It's not like our podcast sounds that good either. So if you can listen to this, you can listen to that.
So yeah. Anything else? Let's talk about what our next episode is. I'm actually really excited because I will be in charge again for the next episode. And the next episode, we're going to be watching Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Yeah, we were only planning on doing a couple of LGBTQ movies, but since Aaron's off for the summer, we have time to record more. So we're going to be doing Prissy, Queen of the Desert, which
Priscilla? Prissy?
Yeah, that's a nickname for someone named Priscilla.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Anyway, I've never seen it. I've heard a lot about it. It's another big time cult film. I think it's Australian, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, it is. It's real. It's so much fun. When I first saw it, I loved the movie. So I'm excited for you to see it. Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like this is going to be right up my alley. If you want to write into us and tell us how terrible we are at this, it's joeyanderinpod at gmail.com. I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we want to give them any other films that we're going to be planning on doing, or no?
No, I only like to give the next one or two because it's subject to change. I don't want you guys to get your hopes up. Like, oh, look,
Yeah.
they're doing this. And then I remember one podcast I listened to said that they were going to do, what's that dragon movie with Dennis Quaid?
I don't know.
Dragonheart, I think.
Sure.
Which is a movie I liked when I was a kid. It's bad, but I liked it. And Sean Connery does the voice of the dragon. But anyway, they said they were going to talk about that on a podcast I listened to, and then they didn't. They changed the movie, and I was so disappointed because I liked that movie when I was a kid, and I would love to hear somebody make fun of it. So I only want to give one ahead, so in case we want to change something further down the line, people don't get upset about it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But nobody's getting upset because nobody writes us hate mail. So
Yeah. So send us mail, hate or love.
preferably hate. It makes for better content. All right, that's going to do it for
You haven't seen it?
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.